gonna be. Oh.
Good morning. It is 9:01 on December 31st, and Happy New Year's to everybody. We're going to open the regular meeting for the Klickitat County Commissioners this morning. Noting that I'm in session, Mr. Anderson is online. Mr. Christopher's not here, but Mr. Christopher, are you online? Again, we have no video today. The parts haven't came for the video. I'm just going to ask for sure to see if Mr. Christopher's online. And I'm not hearing anything, so we'll move forward with myself and Commissioner Anderson. So we'll begin with the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. So we'll do approval of the business agenda first, Mr. Anderson.
Madam Chair, I would make a motion to approve the business agenda as presented.
And I'll step down in second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye, motion passes. Approval of the meeting minutes for December 24th as presented.
Madam Chair, I would make a motion to approve the December 24th meeting minutes.
And I will step down in second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes. So we're to public comment. So we'll take hands in the room and ask you to come forward to the table on the microphone. Zoom, what do we do?
With Zoom, they can still, they'll unmute themselves or raise their hand, and I can see them.
You can see them. So I'll have Elise help me with that when we do online. So we'll start in the room. Good morning, Mr. Nichols. Good to see you.
Thank you. I want to make sure I get some photos of the new swearing in this afternoon.
Good.
And I have a softball question to round out the year. Instead of asking you something vicious, I want to say, would each of you please tell me, for our listeners and readers, what you think your biggest accomplishment was in this calendar year and in the term you've been in office? Thank you.
Thank you so much. So online.
Just a second.
Okay, we're working on it. Give us 1 second.
Okay, online.
We don't see any hands raised or anyone unmuted online. So we'll go back to the room. Anyone in the room like to give comment this morning? Mr. Teese? Thank you.
This morning, I'd like to make some general comments. On 12/27, Jeff Hunter told you that the franchise agreement for Carringer Solar was not necessary for them to proceed. I don't believe this is true. Carringer had secured easement from all other landowners except for the Department of Natural Resources and their wildlife property. The refusal made the franchise agreement absolutely necessary for Carringer to proceed. Since Jeff Hunter emphasized that the franchise agreement was unnecessary, I take his testimony to be knowingly untrue. What else has he misled us on? Hunter has also stated that the franchise does not support the project. But if there is any more sure support than providing them with what is is there any more true support than providing them with what is absolutely necessary? And there's the public notice issue being 1 day late, and Jeff Hunter stated that the notice was up in time, but it wasn't signed. and I don't believe that makes it a legal notice. And I request that the county commissioner try to save the county some money and request that the prosecuting attorney check on this and confirm that a notice unsigned is a legal document. Then there's the matter of the AR zone. I won't go into specifics. I will say that I believe that that zone will have a heavy, mean impact on a lot of county citizens in the future. And it is especially egregious because there is no opportunity to appeal. Thank you.
Thank you. Online? Everybody's busy today. Wow. Back in the room. Mr. Rizzi. Always last, and we're getting close, it looks like.
Are we last?
Yeah, I don't have anyone online and I don't see any other hands in the room.
Sherry.
Oh, if you'd
Well,
like.
we'll let Sherry go.
Okay, I knew you'd take that one. Good morning, Sherry Bosque.
Good morning, Klickitat County Commissioners. I guess I'm a little flabbergasted as what to say, and I agree with Mr. T's 100% on what he said. And as you know, my testimony for this franchise agreement has stood on the grounds that the county cannot be granting and contracting use of land they do not have a right of way for. That is fraud. That is unclean hands and not in good faith. And I agree with Mr. Tees that you should be contacting your county lawyer, Mr. Quinnell, and asking him if you've done everything okay. Because as I told you, the people are not so naive as you think we are. When you do a franchise agreement with an entity, a corporate layer of a foreign corporation, I don't know how many onion skins down out of probably Delaware, you know, that's called Carriager Solar LLC, and then you tell us it's nothing to do with the project, that's insulting our intelligence. And it is a green light for this project. This Cypress Creek would not have threatened to sue our county if they didn't give something that wasn't necessary. So again, insulting the people's intelligence. You know, I'm most disappointed. Let's just say for all these years, Mr. Anderson, you've been very clear to show your support for large scale solar to come into this county. So I disregard that and you're gone anyway. But Ms. Solar, you promised us you weren't going to do that. You said it to people's face. You said you would not sign that franchise agreement until FSEC approved the project, if they approved the project. So you deceived the people. And maybe that's why you want to cut off public comment, because we're not here to war against you. That's not what the people are here for. The people created the government. We want peace. We want security, happiness, pursuit. What is that? Freedom, liberty, pursuit of happiness, all that stuff, justice. So when we speak, yes, we are talking to our fellow people, but we're also asking you to right your ship, to do what the people want, not what the corporations want. We testified strong, and I feel very betrayed that that farmland by two people has been sold out for generations to come because big solar, big foreign corporations have talked people in to signing, I believe, fraudulent. And again, I suggest what Mr. T suggested. You contact the attorney and you ask him if you've done everything right. And are your signatures legal on that franchise? The people want to know.
Back in the room. Gonna go for it?
Better go for it here. Jump right in there. Well, I was just, I was waiting for you to say your piece.
Well, I have no peace today.
You have no peace?
He's happy.
I'm happy.
Are you happy?
It's a new year.
It's not even the new year yet.
It will be
We
soon.
got minutes. Andrew Smith, Klickitat County, speaking of New Year, Happy New Year to everybody. It's coming. I'm glad to see that at least we have one commissioner here ready for the oath. And he's smiling on this. I have nothing else really to say. It's just, I'm looking forward for a new year, see what's gonna happen here on the board and where everything's gonna lead. And hopefully next time around, we'll have more people making comments. Too bad the jail isn't gonna be here.
Busy season.
It is busy. So, Happy New Year to everybody. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Smith, for your dedication. You're always here.
Try to be one way or another, just like Mr. Izzy here. All right.
Anyone online?
I have Jean.
Good morning, Jean.
Hey, good morning, everybody. Just a couple of things. Just wanted to say thanks to everybody at the county, especially the folks behind the scenes. Incredibly important part of the day-to-day, all the way up until making these meetings happen. So I'm very grateful to you all for that. And also just echoing Mr. Smith's sentiments about looking forward, seeing where the new year brings us. Thanks so much and take care.
Thank you, Jean.
I have 2662.
2662.
Good morning, Commissioners. This is Tracy from Lyle. And I just wanted to touch on a few things today. So I actually have some questions. So if the county signs this franchise agreement, which you're doing, obviously, will that make you obligated to sign all franchise agreements for solar that come in? Because that otherwise it would be showing a preference to one and not to others. Secondly, if sometime in the future, if the county is able to either get tax credits or pay, charge these solar people anything, will this be able to be on this franchise as well? And then the other thing is, it's 50 years. 50 years will be our great grandkids will be making decisions in 50 years. I don't think solar has a lifespan of 50 years. So what the commissioners can do today, even if they sign this franchise agreement, is shorten the agreement. 10, 20 years would be sufficient because we don't even know what solar is going to look like in 10 or 20 years. The next thing I'd like to say is, are we by signing this agreement, are we maybe stopping the county from doing something else? Renewables are going to continue to be invented and brought forth in the future. And if we're signing agreements with one entity for one type of renewable, would that eliminate any other renewables coming in the future that may fit better in Klickitat County? Another thing I wanted to ask is why didn't Jeff Hunter provide survey 1161211 to the commissioners? This survey is done by Carringer. It was completed April 10th of 2022. It's in the auditor's files, and it's also attached to all the parcels now in the IMAP, in the interactive map. And it's in a larger area than what the 1 mile franchise agreement says. So if Carringer were to want to cover more than 1 mile, would they have to come back to the commissioners to get a new franchise for that area, or can this franchise agreement be extended? Jeff Hunter said that that this franchise will protect the people. Well, that should be noted in the franchise agreement. If the 5 years start when the facilities are put in, or do they start now, as Jeff Hunter had said? And then lastly, I don't have my notes here, sorry. I guess that's it. So I hope you guys have a happy, I know, it was emergency management. So if the Cascadia earthquake happens, Goldendale will be the transportation hub, according to Jeff King.
Thank you, Tracy.
And will this affect Jeff King's plans for emergency management in the future? Thank you.
Thank you. Okay.
Yes.
In the room? No one this one? We've done pretty good. Is anybody else online? We're not. Oops.
7211 Great Way.
7211, Mr. Wagner.
Yeah, Greg Wagner with C. You commissioners violated the laws 3655 040 80 32 010 when you held the franchise agreement hearing. You did it wrong. You did it in violation of the law. You want to permit a franchise agreement for a power line in the county prohibited areas, several of the townships within that prohibition. You'll be violating our own county ordinances, one that you helped create, Ms. Zoller. That's wrong. The hearing was done improperly, so you really can't make an agreement with FSEC by writing a letter and saying you're going to have conditions when you don't even have a legal franchise hearing. You did it all wrong. The franchise agreement that Jeff Hunter claims is going to protect us, it don't start protecting the county until after the 5th year. This is ridiculous. Why don't you have an agreement that protects the county and the people from day one? That works against us. You know, in the franchise agreement, it says their franchise area will be approximately 1 mile. That's too vague. Why is Jeff Hunter accepting something like that? Approximately 1 mile. You know, then the franchise agreement, it's poorly written. Jeff Hunter can't come up with the accommodations of utility policy. We don't know if the county's in accordance with it. This thing is just riddled full of holes and problems. And it's a contract that you commissioners, at least 2 of you, will enter into, and it's a bad contract. Why are you doing bad contracts for our county that don't protect our citizens? You've done it already twice in 2023, the Click and the Bluebird franchise agreements. Those were done improperly too. Probably every one of them the county's ever done has been done wrong, and they don't protect us. They don't protect us till after the 5th year. There's nothing in there that helps us till after the 5th year. It's useless. And I realize that, you know, you're going to send a letter with conditions to FSEC. Big deal. FSEC doesn't care. FSEC doesn't care. But for Jeff Hunter to say the franchise has nothing to do with the project is ridiculous. Why is Carriager trying so hard to get a franchise agreement if it's meaningless? Don't understand it. You all are supposed to manage the county. You commissioners, you're supposed to look out for the safety, health, and welfare of the citizens. And signing this poorly written franchise agreement, which is a contract, is not doing your job. And it's time to step up and do your job. Letters to FSEC, just deny the franchise agreement and be done with it. Bye.
Thank you, Mr. Wagner. Back in the room. Mr. Rizzi. He superseded you, Mr. Smith.
Yes, I was gonna be good and not talk, but
Oh no, I knew it was coming.
The longer you wait.
yeah. Well, I am going to still be good. I'm here because I'm representing Dallasport, and I want everybody to know that Dallasport is very excited about our future. As people know, I'm the chairman of the Dallasport Murdoch Community Council, and we meet every second Thursday of each month. And this next meeting here in January is going to be very important, I hope, because we're going to be given a presentation on the future of Dallasport. So we're looking forward to that. In fact, we're looking forward with the incoming things that are happening that eventually we hope to become an incorporated city. We are on that path and we're looking forward to it. And so I just hope that the council, the commissioners will hopefully look favorable upon us in order to help us get to that goal of becoming an incorporated city. So I just want to wish everybody a new year, and hopefully it'll be a very good year for everyone. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Rizzi, and you were good, see?
I can be good, see?
No, it was good information,
I can
thank
be
you.
good.
Back online? And back in the room, and we have two suspects left with their staffs, so. So because we have the swearing in coming up at 11, I think we'll get back on track and close out public comment. Mr. Anderson, do you have any comments this morning? Are you still with us?
Yep, I'm here. I'm just reviewing all my comments. Roger, thank you for the questions. You would think that those are really easy soft pitch balls, but they're actually not. So in my term, what am I most proud of that we did? I think we went above and beyond with regards to behavioral health of where we were, and we created a new department. We stood it up in the shortest amount of time I've ever seen something done. We started providing outpatient treatment services, and it's still growing. We're looking for employees, and I have a lot of hope with that program. This year was pretty much chock full of getting the jail transition done, making sure that the potential lawsuits didn't get too big. And I'm really glad that that is over and done with. And I think the best accomplishment that I could say is as we are leaving the new incoming board with nothing festering under their nails that they have to deal with right off the bat, that it should be an easy way for them to spin up, versus how when I came into office, we were in the throes of COVID and things were just absolutely crazy with our emergency operations center inactive and everything else that was going on. So I have a lot of hope that the new board is going to be able to have a smooth ride because we've made all the tough decisions and didn't just, punt them to them. To Mr. Thies, I would say that I think you are misinterpreting what Mr. Hunter said. There is legislative action, there's quasi-judicial action, and there's executive action that the board can take. The franchise agreement is something that there is precedent, there is laws that are in place. And Mr. Hunter was saying that you can apply for a franchise and be granted a franchise when you actually don't have a project that's permitted yet. We have already done that multiple times in the past. We have granted franchises that cover the entire county, not just 1 mile for broadband and other utility services. And there is a lot of history that goes on there, and we can't treat this company any different than all the others. And so that's one thing that we have to be very cognizant of when we're making these decisions. And the Board of County Commissioners authorized staff to post the notices in weeks prior to it. The only thing that was a day late was when we signed the document saying that that was in essence already done. The auditor had signed her document the day before, and everything was posted. The public saw everything in time, and we all double checked that to ensure that that was the case. Sherry, I think that answers most of your questions. I'm sorry that you feel that you've been disappointed over the past 4 years that you didn't get everything that you wanted. I hope you understand. I've always tried to seek the common ground and the middle ground in almost all decisions. That is exactly why on our consent agenda we have a letter going to FSEC because of the questions and the concerns that people brought up during the franchises, that this is giving a green light. And we are doing exactly what you want. We are ensuring that the green light is not a green light, it's a conditional light, and that we will not permit any the building, and we will not issue permits in that right of way until they have their permits in hand from FSEC. And so the franchise agreement is just that. It's a franchise agreement that allows them to do it, but you still have another process that is the permit process that any developer has to go through, whether it's Carringer or it's Click Networks or anyone else. They still have to get permits to actually construct in the right of way. And without their permits in hand, we will not be doing that. Mr. Smith and Jean, thank you so much. Happy New Year to you as well. I hope you're excited and you've got great plans for this new year. Thank you for always being here and being involved. That means a lot to me. Tracy, I think I answered a lot of yours, but the county does not get any tax credits. We're not eligible for tax credits. Um, the franchise agreement is for 50 years. That is what many of our franchises are signed for. And remember, this is just their right to construct within the right of way. It does not actually allow them to build. It just means that if they do construct it. And what people don't understand about the 5 years is that's how it is designed so that nobody goes and spends their hard dollars building something and then being asked to move it the next year. I think Mr. Hunter did an excellent job explaining to everyone that the reason that we have the 6-year road plan is that if one of these construction projects was on the 6-year road plan, then the developer would already know that that is planning to get moved in the future, and so they likely wouldn't be issued a franchise agreement. So we don't have any plans on the 6-year road plan to move the Knight Road, that the county is not going to. It already sits, it's been built, it's there. And if it's not on the 6-year road plan, it's not going to get changed. At least the county's not going to change it. So we are protected within that 5 years. So I'm not at all concerned about that in terms of having to pay for the moving of any lines, whether it be the PUD or Carringer lines, if they do get built. And the 5 years starts from when we agree to the franchise. It doesn't start from construction. You're going to need to contact Mr. King with regards to the emergency management. I have no idea what you're talking about there. Greg, I answered all your questions. Well, I would also just like to mention that I received your email over the weekend with regards to our planning director. Sir, I just have to say that I think it's one thing when you attack me as a commissioner or me personally, I don't care. But when you attack our employees and you say the things that you do, I'm sorry, but you are so far out of line. I have absolutely zero respect for how you act and interact with staff. And I hope to God that the new Board of County Commissioners sets requirements and standards, because you know what you're going to do is you're going to drive away good staff in your personal quests, and that to me is unacceptable. I am just beyond disappointed with how you've interacted. I think you're a very intelligent person and you make good points, and I've done a lot of research because of the points you've brought up. But it comes down to it is the issues that you have is how you come across and how you speak to other people. You just don't know how to play nicely with others. And if you think you're going to get what you want by your burn it down attitude, I'm sorry, but you're just going to hurt you hurt your own goals when the way you act. And for my 4 years that I've been a commissioner, you haven't changed at all. And I tried to explain to you that I would not communicate with you if you could not communicate in a respectful manner, and quit throwing your outlandish, crazy statements, and just show respect to one another. The people that work here are doing it because they're public servants. Show them respect for their job. And Mr. Rizzi, nothing would make me happier than to see Dallasport incorporate in the future. You should also be aware the cost that it's going to be on that community when you do incorporate, with the additional staff and resources that are required. I hope to see a lot of growth in Dallasport so that you can, the community can afford to have those staff to manage your own destiny in the way you see fit in Dallasport, so that it's not just as part of the Board of County Commissioners that are trying to manage the area. I think Dallasport is one of the only areas in the entire Columbia River Gorge that has room for growth, and it's coming one way or the another. We all thought it was going to be here 20 years ago, and in 20 years we might still think it's going to be here, but we'll see. But when it does happen, Dallasport is going to be a lovely community, and I look forward to seeing it. And I want to say thank you for all your time you served as a community council chairman. I served almost 10 years as the chairman of the Houston BZ Community Council, and it was some of the greatest times of my life where you were able to work on those local issues and not have to work on a million different issues like I've had as a county commissioner. It's really fun when you can work just locally on your own small things. And with that, Madam Chair, I'll yield back the rest of my time. I would just like to say thank you to the public for your 4 years, and I hope to leave this county in good hands and see great things happen.
Thank you, Mr. Anderson. And I have to say, I can just echo everything that Mr. Anderson just said with all the answers that he gave, and I have a few more things to expand on. Mr. Rizzi, I'd like to ask, who's doing your presentation on the second Thursday?
Mark is
Okay.
Yeah.
Mr. Pepple?
Yeah.
Okay, and what time?
7 o'clock.
7 o'clock, thank you. So 7 p.m. on Dallasport for their first January update, so that'll be good. So I'll try to keep it very short because I think Mr. Anderson pretty much covered everything I have to say with facts. And he was very factual about things that operate, how they work, and answered questions. I don't dispute anything that he said. I would like to expand on the statements that we need to go back and do our due diligence, do our work. Most of the time, I can speak for myself. Double, triple, quadruple checking anything that I work on, not only calling legal counsel, calling staff, calling departments, calling elected, actually calling FSEC on that project. And legal all over the place because we have our legal counsel, plus we can check at state sources in different places to double and triple check what we're doing. So I don't come in and make a decision before I really check things. And if it appeared that I had a personal persuasion, Sherry, over what the FSEC agreement was or the franchise agreement was compared to what it does to the project over time, and also new evidence presented, legal presented, those have to be adjusted because I can have my personal persuasions, but I have to sit as a commissioner and make that decision to keep the whole county safe. I can't make an arbitrary decision just because I think it's best or because I think I'm serving someone in the public. We have to do the right thing from our seat and keep us in that legal ditch where we belong. And I would like to ask too, the public that does call in and has a lot of these questions, they ask this of us, but many times I've known public people that have had property problems, that have had questions, and before they come in and throw something at the commissioners, they actually seek legal counsel. It's available to us, but it's also available to you. You can seek out these answers in other places. As far as transparency, I've heard that word so many times in the last 4 years, promising to be transparent. We are transparent at the county. We have no other way to do it. We're stuck with transparency. We do it in public meetings. We record everything. You can go back and look at them. The documents are all recorded. So that transparency is there and available for the public to find those things. And sometimes sending in public disclosure requests to dig out things that you could find is just really damaging the morale and the productivity of our departments. They can't get anything else done sometimes. They get emotionally upset, they get buried with work that really doesn't need to be happening. So if the public wants to be involved, join boards, look up things for yourself, ask legal counsel, come to us with things that are a positive, not with a negative that just keeps dragging the county down. I want to see a new 2025. And I have a lot of hope with my new board. I'm excited to get them sworn in here pretty quick. And I don't want them to run before that time. So I hope they really go over there and swear in and they become my new partners. That would be awesome. Andrew, Mr. Rizzi, Jean, all of my regulars, thank you so much for the time you do put in. And thank you for acknowledging staff. I appreciate that and acknowledging the time and the care that they do give to you. And I appreciate your dedication on boards and community councils. And We all have our ups and downs, but we're all going the same way. We just want a better county, and we'll get there together. So for that, I think we'll close comment and move on. Let me see where we're at now. Consent agenda, Mr. Anderson.
Madam Chair, I would make a motion to approve the consent agenda with 10 items.
And I'll step down in second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye, motion passes. So payroll warrant certification and approvals.
Madam Chair, I would make a motion to approve the accounts payable warrants in the amount of $438,749 and the payroll benefit warrants in the amount of $1,163,605.85 for the date ending December 30th, 2020.
And I'll step down in second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye, motion passes. Pay estimate, Public Works.
Madam Chair, I'd make a motion to approve pay estimate 5 for the Klickitat County Superior Court remodel in the amount of $12,679.63.
And I'll step down in second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye, motion passes. Any new business for you, Mr. Anderson?
No, madam.
And I have none today, so we have unfinished business. A resolution in the matter of zone 2023-01.
Yes, Madam Chair, we made a motion to approve the zone 2023-01 last week. This could have been on the consent agenda just because this is the signing of it. And with that, I would make a motion to sign zone 2023-01.
And it's unfinished business, so I will step down and second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye, motion passes. Commissioners' miscellaneous reports and comments. If you have nothing to go forward with, I'd just like to say right now, I'm very thankful for the course that Commissioner Anderson has stayed in these last few months. Keeping the business of the county going, even if it is via Zoom, he's calling in and we're able to get through our agendas, pay our bills, keep our staff going, and keep the business of the county moving. So I appreciate that, Mr. Anderson, that you have that much dedication after these 4 years, exhausting 4 years, to get where we're at today, and you've stayed the course. I just want you to know I appreciate it.
Well, thank you, Madam Chair. I think it's an amazing world when even when we're on vacation, that we can still make sure that the county continues to operate. And I think in my 4 years, I've missed only one meeting, and that was because I was in DC trying to get $200 million for the Hood River White Salmon by State Bridge Authority. And other than that, I think I've attended every single meeting, no matter what.
And Zoom is wonderful, but I'll note too, it is a lot harder. You really have to read and have everything in front of you on your computer and be able to follow along and stay and comment. In session is much easier. Face to face is so much easier, but thank you for attacking the Zoom and doing it. I appreciate it.
Yeah, and you know, the world is seeming like it's going back to more in-person meetings. I know before my time, commissioners, there was a lot of times there were only 2 commissioners present at a meeting because someone would be going up to Olympia for meetings, and you were always moving around. When I came into office, you know, Zoom was now the big thing. And so it was really easy for 4 years to have 3 commissioners present at all meetings. But for the 5 years that I worked for the county previously, there was a lot of meetings where there were only 2 people present because commissioners, we serve on so many different boards and committees at the state level. We're always going different directions and just making sure that everything can get done. It's really nice to have the Zoom ability because it's easier to have three members present for the difficult conversations and the difficult discussions. So there's good and bad with everything, you know.
For me too, Zoom sometimes it's almost overwhelming because we can do so much work. So it's scary now compared to days without Zoom, what you can attend each day. Sometimes our schedule is minute to minute. And I think the public has seen where there are times you've left our session and went into your office and carried on Zoom in another session and came back to this one because everything's intertwining. It's crazy how we can work across the state and with Olympia and do meeting after meeting every day. It's
Yeah, and that's one of the amazing things is we've become so much more efficient. And that's one thing I think local county government needed to do. And in that respect, COVID was a great thing because it pushed the county out of its comfort zone to become more efficient. And I have high hopes for our new financial software helping with efficiency. And I think, there's so many good things that are happening. It's just some of these things, they take years to implement. I remember, when we started with, the ARPA dollars in trying to get, what we were going to spend that on that had a positive impact on all employees. And here we are, almost 3.5 years later, or 3 year plus years later, and we're finally now getting our new financial system going. It just takes so much time to get things done, which is the reason why I was so in favor of making the statement. Like the biggest thing that we really got done that I felt was creating the behavioral health department. I know how long it takes to build something at the county level, and we put that together in under 90 days. You don't see that happening at the local level in terms of speed and efficiency and bringing all the other electeds on board and making sure we were able to get that done so that, we could still provide crisis services. To me, those are the things like I wish government moved faster. When you come from the private sector and or, Todd taking my position, it just moves so slowly. And there's so many checks and balances along the way. And then you have people, looking over your shoulder the entire time to make sure you got it right. And that's really important, but it just means that government moves at a slower pace than we would all like to see. And it's good and bad. So
we have a little over 15 minutes because of public hearing. We need to stay to task and stay on our schedule. So I have nothing else for the good, Mr. Anderson. Do you? We could just take a little break. I can send documents and.
okay. Madam Chair, I would move that we recess until the public hearing at 10 o'clock.
Thank you. And I'll step down in a second. Thank you. Okay, it's 10 o'clock and we're going to resume our county commissioner session for the day after our break. And we're going to move to a public hearing for the 2024 fourth quarter supplemental. So we'll open the meeting and hear from Jen Neal, our fiscal manager.
Morning. So I want to take a moment to explain the approach to the supplemental budget amendment. While we're not legally required to hold public hearings for budget amendments, we're committed to transparency and providing the public with the opportunity to share their thoughts and concerns. The supplemental budget has increased from the original, but it does not grant any new spending authority. In fact, the majority of this amendment does not involve any additional spending. Importantly, no additional funds are needed to support this amendment. The changes primarily consist of technical accounting adjustments, which are essentially accounting measures to reallocate funds between accounts. A key part of the amendment involves moving funds to bolster our reserves, strengthening our financial stability for the future. While it is uncertain whether these adjustments necessitate this level of formal review, our finance team recommended proceeding with the process to ensure clarity and maintain our commitment to transparency. We appreciate all's participation and value your input as we continue to make decisions in the best interest of our community. So before you, you have the supplemental budget, of which $200,000 is for public health. They have already received an additional $1.2 million of grant funds that was unbudgeted. So we're just going to budget $200,000 to ensure that there's no service interruptions there. The remaining is going to be a movement of funds from cumulative reserve fund of 2.2 into the general fund. And then to adhere to RCW 36.40090, we are going to move $4.2 million of excess unbudgeted cash from the general fund into our reserves. All of this is completely budget neutral.
And that's your report. Would you like to add anything, Heather?
I don't have anything to add. It's just, if there are questions,
Okay.
I have visuals I could do, exchange dollar bills, but it really is sort of lost the camera, so nobody can see it, so.
It's a hard way to work.
You guys can share screen if you have the visuals on a computer.
I did not bring my computer in here. Sorry,
Okay.
Anderson.
I'm just trying to make it extremely clear for the public. So we're moving 2.2 million from cumulative reserve to the general fund, and this is for technical accounting stuff. And then we're actually moving 4.2 from the general fund back into the cumulative reserve. So we're actually taking cash from our cash general fund and putting it in cumulative reserve. So cumulative reserve will actually be going up by $2 million.
Correct.
So we can open it for public testimony or questions of the auditor and the fiscal manager. Is there anybody in the room that has a question? Seeing none online, are there any questions? Great, not seeing any. And so we don't have any clarification of questions. And if there's no further public comment, we'll close the hearing to public testimony. And is there any more discussion by the board, Mr. Anderson?
I have no discussion. I think Jen did a great job explaining it. And just for the record, you were asking for public testimony from in the room and online, not public comment, correct?
Correct.
Got it. No, I have no other questions.
If none, then I'll close the public meeting and call for a motion.
Madam Chair, I would make a motion to approve the supplemental budget 2024-4.
And I'll step down in second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye, motion passes. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Jen. Thank you, Heather.
Yeah, thank you. Greg's in the room too.
Oh, thank you, Greg. I didn't hear his voice.
Yeah, thank you for coming over. Oh, too late. Okay. So I think that's it, Mr. Anderson. We have an update from Dan. There you are. You have two.
I am also on the agenda directly after. It was my intention to provide a a quarter to date, fourth quarter update for the current board. Unfortunately, due to unforeseen circumstances with some events in the last 2 weeks, I was unable to get to that. So it is my intention to go ahead and get to it on the normal time of after the January 10th.
Welcome to the new board.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yeah, I'm glad that you'll give it to the new board. I don't really need it.
And I can live that long. Okay, so Mr. Anderson, I think that's the end of our agenda for the day.
All right. Well, Madam Chair, I wanted to say thank you for the past 2 years and thank you for being the chairwoman this year. I know it has been an exceedingly tough year, and it feels like you're always drowning when you're the chair. I was the chair 2 years prior, and I remember how unbelievably busy you can be. And I just wanted to say thank you for all of your time and effort and keeping your calm head and your cool during difficult meetings with difficult testimony. And you know, you never stop learning in the position. And I think you have come a very long ways in the last 2 years. And I remember what that felt like. And I think you're doing a great job.
Well, thank you, Mr. Anderson, and I sincerely thank you for all your support over this time, from the littlest thing to the bigger issues. You've always been a constant for me, and I appreciate it.
And with that, Madam Chair, for the very last time, I'm going to make a motion to adjourn the regular meeting.
I will step down in second. So motion passes. Are all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye, so motion passes, and thank you again, Mr. Anderson. Enjoy your time.
Have a great day. Bye.